Hi, this is a video showcasing the installation process for the Dome 180. This is the larger dome of 180 millimeters. And shown here is the Outex Pro cover as part of the Pro kit. But the domes of both sizes are compatible with also the entry covers. In this particular install, we're going to be using a threaded adapter because we're using a threaded lens that works just like the flat ports. But in addition to the different size threads, which we sell different adapters for that you can purchase in shop-by parts, you can also use clamps. So the adapters have threads of the various sizes with all the industry standards for multiple lenses, but we also have dome clamps that come in different sizes as well for fisheye, unremovable hood, or other lenses that do not have filter thread compatibility. So the dome kit includes one size of your choice for the filter thread, but you can go to Shop by Parts and purchase either additional clamps or additional adapters if you want to use the same dome for multiple lenses. In this particular example, we're using a 77 millimeter filter thread lens. And so we have the 77 millimeter adapter connected to the dome. Next, we're going to show you how both the adapters and the clamps work in the exact same manner. So if you have some fisheye lenses and some lenses that have filter thread sizes, you can purchase clamps and adapters and use the same dome for both. In this demonstration, we're showing you how you can exchange the adapters and the domes and use them in a very similar manner. So you simply unscrew the adapter from the inside portion of the dome. And if you have a different size adapter, you would simply install it in the same way that you would have the previous adapter, and those fit different thread sizes. Or you would get different clamps and install them instead. So just like the adapters, you can use dome clamps, which will work for unthreaded lenses. And the installation process is identical. So in this case, you would remove the adapter from the flange's internal component, and you would replace it with the dome clamp in this way. So you would use the two screws that come included, and you would secure the clamp, in this case, to the inside of the dome. You can visit the installation page at outex.com to see exactly the order of all of the parts of the installation and if the orientation of those parts matter and how they are to be inserted. In the case of the clamp, you now have an adjustable portion of the clamp that allows for some travel within that part. So now I've gotten the adapter back on the inside, since this installation is for a threaded lens, but they work the same way. At this point, I first insert part number 1 before I connect it, because this part is going to come from the back and reattach to the dome. So again, use the installation images and charts to make sure that you understand the installation order, or if you have questions. But in this video, you can see part number 1 goes in first with the threads facing forward. Then the threads on the inside of the adapter connect to your lens filter thread. And this is very similar to the flat port installation, with the main difference being that with the Dome 180, there are actually 2 seals. We're going to demonstrate the first one. So once the dome flange through the adapter has attached to your lens, remember, you don't have to put a lot of pressure, but just so that it's secure, you remove both the washer and the nut. So you can set those aside. And at this point, just like with the flat port, you would pull the flexible cover over the sides, making sure that it's evenly distributed all the way around. So once you get it around, you use the base of this component as your guide, and you can pull the cover all around the rim to make sure it's nice and even. You don't want there to be waves or inconsistent application of the cover, because the cover is functioning as the O-ring. So once it's sealed and pulled evenly, you take the washer in the right position where the female portion of the washer matches with the cover's lip, which is acting as the male, and then you take the nut and you thread it, creating the seal. Again, this is very similar to the flat port, and you want to make sure that with one hand you're holding the inside component of the dome as opposed to the lens, so that when you're creating the seal, you're not putting pressure on the lens. And then finally, you're going to place all of that into the dome itself with the rubber O-ring already in its groove. And part number one finally comes in at the end to complete the seal. Just like with the internal seal, there are ridges on these flanges so that you can use the wrenches to create some additional pressure. So you can always use your hands first to make sure that it feels like the threads are catching and moving steadily. And then once you've got it nice and hand tight, you can add the wrench for a final tightening. For the internal tightening, you would again use your hand to hold the inside and then use one wrench to apply pressure. For the second seal, you would use both wrenches. You would use one hand to secure the inner part, or the part of the back, and the other hand to secure the part in the front. And it's important to make sure that you use your thumbs and place them over the openings so that you're not torquing. If you torque enough, you can actually break part of that notch, and you don't want that. You want to make sure that you're creating circular force so that the seal is secured properly. At this point, you're ready for your water seal test. So you would just be looking for water bubbles or anything like that, just like any component of the Outex system. If you see any bubbles or a stream of air bubbles coming in, it's an opportunity to go back, redo your seals, and check on anything else.